Yeah. I am back from my trip. I'm feeling good. It felt like even last Sunday when we recorded the review show, it felt like I had been gone longer than I actually had. But here for the Captain's Log, we actually did take a week off. So it has been some time, but I'm back and I'm feeling good. You know?
Good.
That's all you can ask.
Best way to feel.
For. Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to number 249 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log. My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined by Melissa Wilkinson. Melissa, how are you doing?
I'm the same. Go to a lot of movies, go to a lot of theater. Do not travel. I only travel in the mind.
A creature of habit, as they say, right? Traveling to malls everywhere in my mind. So I have a soda to kick things off, like I have been the past handful of episodes here. This is my second to last one, so I'll have one more next week, and then I'm out of like funky little sodas here.
Until you just go to the soda store again.
Right. Yes. Yeah. That is the case. Yes. So I've been getting these sodas from a place called Pops 66. And it's a little diner / gas station / soda store that has all of these sodas from around the country. This one is a Mexicana cola, because it's sweetened with Mexican agave. Yeah, so no high fructose corn syrup, and I guess not regular sugar. There is sugar, but also Mexican agave. I don't think I've had a soda with agave in it.
I'll say that the label, it's red. It is like a yellow sun on it. It's got like bouncy party ready letters. That does not look like a soda label. You look at it and you think it should be on like a jar of salsa or a packet of taco seasoning. Weird to see it on a beverage.
Yeah. Like I've had, like, you've had the like Mexican Coke, right? Which is just the old Coke in the classic bottles made with like the actual hugger. Like I've had that stuff. I've even had like Inca Cola, which is I think from South America. But yeah, I haven't seen a soda or a cola with like its design, its packaging meant to look like some kind of like traditional Mexican designs on it and stuff like that. So interesting. But I'm a big cola fan, so I thought this would be an interesting one to try out. Mexicana cola. Let's see.
Go forth and enjoy. Good glug.
Yep, good glug indeed. I like that. I don't know if I could really taste a difference of like what makes that different, or like where the agave is. I guess I don't exactly know what agave tastes like by itself, but I know that it can be like a sweetener. So,
It looks spiky.
I like it though. Tastes good.
I'm just making sure I know what an agave looks like if I was ever to see one in the wild.
Right. No, that's poison ivy. No, it's agave. Good stuff. Yeah, so I took a small trip this past week. I might as well start with that. Yeah, I was only gone for like a total of 3 days. Left on a Tuesday morning, got back late on a Thursday night. Or I guess super duper early on a Friday morning, if you really want to get technical. But yeah, it was, I moved away from Richmond, Virginia over a year and a half ago now ish. And this was my first time being back got to go back to Richmond, Virginia. I got to stay with my old roommates, which was fantastic.
Very nice.
Yeah. There used to be 3 of us in that house. And there was 2 of us on the top floor. The middle floor was like a common area, and then the basement, there was also 1 bedroom down there. And I was on the top floor, so I moved out, and then later that year, like end of December, is when the guy in the basement moved out. And the remaining roommate, like just before I moved out, they bought the house.
Nice.
And so they renovated the basement quite a bit to make it an Airbnb that they could rent out and stuff like that. So I got to stay at the house that I moved out of, but in a different part of the house. That was
surreal.
Strange, right? Yeah. But man, to see the work that they put into make that space just look fantastic is wild.
Nice.
Not gonna lie, when I was living there, that basement is kind of unfinished. Every once in a while would feel bad for my roommate who lived down there, but he was so content with all of it. He's like, I like that I have my own door. I don't have to bother you guys if I need to like go out late or early or who knows what. So he was just like, I'm totally good down here. He was happy. But they have like transformed that space, which is good. So I was happy to see all of them. I got to eat with them on Wednesday night. We all got together. Had some lasagna and some alcohol and stuff like that. It was real good.
Man, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
Dog's still there?
All of the dogs are still there. In fact, they have added 1. So there's now 4
who's the new dog?
Dogs. So my roommates had like 3 really big pit bulls. One was didn't look like a pit bull, was more of a mix of some other stuff, but two of them absolutely looked like pit bulls. And then they got a 4th one whose name is Desiree, who's kind of a puppy. She was like scared of me at first of like, who's this new person? What are you doing here? And then I reached out to pet her and she was like, wait, you'll pet me? Okay, let me get you all of my toys. I'm going to go get them all one by one. And she was like, look at this one and look at this one and look at this one.
That's the best when a kid or dog shows you a bunch of stuff.
Right? Show and tell. Exactly. And this one used to be a sheep, but I ripped it real good. Now you can't even tell, right? It's so awesome.
No longer distinguishable as its original form. Such is my power.
Exactly. Yeah, so we had a blast with that. Thursday morning, I had a little bit of free time. I got to go to my old comic book store, which was a blast. They kind of recognized me, which was neat. So it wasn't the main guy who owns the shop, but it was the other employee. And he saw me, and I could tell like he recognized me, but the way, like what he said was like, wait, you don't have a box with us anymore, do you? And I was like, yeah, no, I don't. I moved away like a year and a half ago. He was like, that's right. Okay. So it was good to go and see all of the new shelves they had built.
New shelves.
My old comic book store is real small. They were like floor to ceiling comics, and somehow they added in more shelves to make it seem like there's more in there. I don't know how.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it is just like you walk in and you are covered in books.
There's a swarm of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I bought a few things, and that was kind of my trip. I was there for work, technically. So on Wednesday all day, I had to do a work thing, but that's boring and no one wants to hear about that stuff. So that was my trip.
Fun.
My trip back to Richmond. It was good. It was good. That's what I did.
In our notes, you
week.
called it RVA, and it took me a while to untangle that meant Richmond, Virginia. Is that your airport code?
No, I don't think so, because it's Richmond International Airport. So I think they do RIC.
Okay, Rick.
Yeah, Rick. But I don't know. So, but yeah, that is like the lingo. That is the vernacular. The the inside scoop of just what we call Richmond. Heard it here first, folks. Except not, because you can get stickers and all of that stuff with it on.
It's nice to know about. Being from St. Louis, a city with a very clear abbreviation. I like knowing the abbreviations for other less apparent cities.
STL. We have OKC
True.
Here in Oklahoma.
Yes, that's you.
I guess Tulsa doesn't really have one. I haven't been to Tulsa yet, though. But I guess OKT. I don't know if they do that. Oct. Welcome to the Oct. Meet me in the Octagon.
Fight me in Tulsa.
Right, yeah.
Such a peaceful town. I've been through Tulsa. Don't fight there.
Yeah. Man. So yeah, I had a good week. It was exhausting, though. I spent the next couple days just kind of recovering. Just like I'm exhausted. Thankfully, I didn't have to work the whole day on Friday. There was another event that I would have had to go to if I stayed in town on that day, but I did not. So I got to catch up with work on Friday morning, and they were like, okay, you guys can take the rest of the afternoon off. So I was like, sweet, I'm done.
Cool.
So, but enough about me. How has your week been? What have you been up to? You said lots of movies, lots of theater, lots of malls. I think I editorialized that one.
No, you can always extrapolate that even if I didn't go to a mall, I thought of one. I thought of one very purposefully.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So you went to go see Blue Beetle this past weekend.
I did. Before we get to Blue Beetle, I got to tell you another story.
Go for
Last week, I didn't have a musical to go to. We didn't have recording. My roommate was out of the house. I had a free night, and I thought, I'm kind of interested in that Last Voyage of the Demeter movie, where Dracula's on a boat.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And there's that new local theater. Well, it's a old building. Building's been around since I was a kid, but it was just rebranded under a new theater chain. I went there to see The Flash some weeks ago. I told you about that theatrical experience. I'm like, I want to go back to that place because it's how The Flash in a weird specialty cinema. What's just like the regular room like? So on a Wednesday night at 7:20 p.m., I go see The Last Voyage of the Demeter, a movie that I heard was not doing well, but had only been out for like 5 days, was still pretty fresh. People out there will always crave a horror movie of any kind.
Sure.
I was there utterly alone.
There was no
Zero
one
people.
Else?
I did not see a soul.
Wow.
This is a little theater. It's like 10 screens, half the building, not half the building. It always boggles me that a theater is truly so much bigger than you perceive it to be. They've got a big chunk of it that's like an arcade and a bowling alley and a little restaurant.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And then the screens are tucked over in the other side of the building. I walk in, there's an old lady at the ticket counter who's just looking at her phone. And I've got a Fandango like QR code. So I walk past her. I get into the main lobby. Nobody there to scan it. I'm like, well, I'm not going back to bother the old lady. I'm just going to walk back to where my theater is. Don't see anybody on the walk back to my theater. I'm there alone. Just me and Dracula for 2 hours.
Did Dracula
I've never had that before.
Too?
No, I was just eating Reese's cups out of my purse.
God, that's such a wild experience. I'm trying to think of like when was the last time I went to a movie theater where it was empty? or like almost empty.
Once my family went to see You Don't Mess with the Zohan at my younger brother's request. He'd seen like one of the supporting characters. He saw like a stand-up special from them on Comedy Central and was like, I thought that guy was funny. This movie's coming out. It's around my birthday. You said I could pick anything.
Comedian David Spade or whatever.
I think it was Nick Swardson. This feels like a lifetime ago. But the four of us went to see You Don't Mess with the Zohan. I don't know if any of us truly enjoyed it. And we were there alone. Earlier this year, Jack and I went to go see confounding art movie Beau is Afraid. And it was almost just the two of us until one guy came in seconds before it started.
Right. Yeah.
But this was the first time it was me and only me.
I don't know if I've been to a theater where it's been only me and whoever I might be with. Like I even like when Movie Pass was first a thing, right? I went to a movie one time, like in the middle of the day, like typical work day, and theaters are usually much emptier then. And I think it was Ocean's 8. Is that the one, the all women one?
Yes.
I don't remember what number it is. But yeah, I went to go see that one. And that was in like one of their tiniest theaters. Almost no one was in that, but there were people in that. And I was just like, I guess there's people here at this time of day. I don't know if I've had an experience like that where I've been alone. I've gotten there first to
temporarily alone.
Yeah,
I was permanently alone. Also, didn't see anybody when I came out of the theater later. A really uncanny experience. But I enjoyed my time. Man. I got to fiddle with the seat as much as I wanted. I started
the real 4DX experience.
I can make it for myself.
Yeah.
I can move myself along with the ship. I am the Demeter.
Now, were you also like, because you were the only one in there, were you reacting louder than you would have?
There's not very much to react to. The Last Voyage of the Demeter is not like a thrill ride. You're not on the edge of your seat. There aren't a lot of like good meaty jump scares. It's just sort of solid. So I did laugh.
Go ahead.
I laughed very hard at the opening frames of the movie. Let me tell you what the opening title card for The Last Voyage of the Demeter says.
Okay.
It says something like, in 1897, a private party chartered the ship Demeter on a voyage from Romania to London, hired it to carry many private crates. The ship arrived in disrepair, torn asunder, its crew entirely missing. This is the story of the captain's log of the Demeter, taken from one chapter in Bram Stoker's Dracula. Which is true. That is what the book is. That's what the movie is. Because the novel Dracula is an epistolary novel, I think is the word. It's told through letters. And this is a real part of the story. The Dracula has to get himself to London to go bother Mina Murray. And he charters the ship. And there's a chapter that's the captain's log saying, something's weird with my ship. Somebody keeps biting people.
Damn, yo, this boat is funky.
But I was not expecting the title card introducing the movie within the movie itself, at 30 seconds in, to refer to the novel Dracula like the movie exists in our world. Like the movie is aware I'm from the novel Dracula.
Based on true events. The fact that someone wrote a book called Dracula.
This is like if you went to see Lightyear. And you sit down in the theater and a screen comes up after like the Pixar lamp bounces around. The screen comes up and it says, this is the movie Lightyear. It's based on the origin of Buzz Lightyear, not Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story, like the real guy who inspired people within the world of Toy Story to make a toy after him. This is this guy's story. So like it's telling you the movie is giving you the elevator pitch for what it is. Like it's your friend and it's not the movie. I've never seen that. That was very funny.
That's so interesting. Because that makes you think like they're almost trying to go for like, but is this based off of real events? Like, you may never know, right?
No.
But yeah, that's absolutely not the case. That's so funny. Man, you spent that whole thing alone. Like, I think I would have turned it into like a mystery science theater 3000. Like, no, don't go in there. He's in the crate. He's in the crate.
There's a Dracula. Watch out. I put my seat in. I was in the back row, and I guess I could have moved. I could have like crawled around the whole theater. Nobody would have stopped me. But I'm like, is there a projectionist behind this wall? Like, am I going to annoy the projectionist?
Hey, dude, can you rewind that back? I want to see that again.
Who's coming in after me? Nobody. I run this place.
Were you like putting your feet up on the chair in front of you?
Not enough space.
No.
This is a cushy theater. I really enjoy the amenities. The seats are quite comfortable. They have the seat warmer in the lumbar region instead of like under your butt.
Yeah.
It's great. It's got wood floors, not real wood floors, but like a wood patterned laminate under your feet instead of the normal like excessively patterned movie theater carpet. So I've never seen that before.
Probably
the first
easier
row,
to clean. I don't know who thought carpet in a movie theater would be a good idea.
They've got carpet like running up the stairs, I guess, because it's easier to embed like the letter of the row that it is inside of the carpet than to like print it on a laminate and the decal peels off. The first row of every theater is a chaise lounge with like, it's not a recliner, like the seat's entirely like flat. It's like a flat couch, but the back can recline. So you can pretty much lie horizontal if you sit in the first row, which is a nice trade-off. I think that's a great tactic for making the first row more appealing.
Yeah. Do they like only deliver food to whoever sits in that area or something like that? Is that why it's the BK lounge?
No, it's a chaise lounge. It's a chaise lounge. One of those long couches, not lounge like a place you hang out and get food and drinks. It's a fancy couch.
Sure. Okay.
You've seen these.
What that meant. I've probably seen them. Let me see.
This is what you lie on with the back of your hand on your forehead when you go to see Sigmund Freud. It's that couch. It's that thing.
It's the
therapy
couch.
Yes, they have therapy couches in the movie theater.
You can watch a therapy movie, right?
Yeah. A chaise longue. I don't know how fancy I'm supposed to get with the French pronunciation, but it's one of them.
I gotcha. Okay. I gotcha.
Another weird thing about this movie theater, 0 posters. Everything is a screen. There are no posters on the outside of the building. There used to be posters. There used to be those little frames for posters. They took them all down. Just straight marble now. You go inside, it's just like we took a long TV and turned it sideways. So yeah, it shows the image of a poster, but it'll also show you a commercial for the new Samsung phone. Yeah. Which do you see this a lot?
So I think ours has a mix. I think there are some posters still, but they are mostly the screens that have it in there. I think it's just cheaper in the long run and easier for them to switch out and stuff.
That is something I thought of, that perhaps in a post-pandemic age where there were so many movies that had to get pushed back so many times, the maybe studios are like, well, if these things aren't as fixed as they once were, we're not printing this to paper. We encourage theaters to invest in screens, and then we can update it.
We'll just update
like
the
months by months as the date goes on. Yes. So it kind of makes sense. But I miss the tactility of seeing a poster and imagining, who gets to take that poster home? What lucky popcorn boy gets to have the poster for Fast 10.
Yeah. I think we still have some of the like cardboard cutouts and stuff. But that's kind of about it. The poster things themselves, though, don't play advertisements, but our previews at our movies are often like cut with
I've seen those.
Some commercial for who knows what.
See, the other theaters I've gone to, they will have one of those screen things that's like adjacent to the box office or the snack counter, so you can watch those things turn over while you're in line. This is the first one that it is 100% screens, 0% paper.
Interesting.
I think I've told you that there's another local movie theater that has in its arcade section like a 2-lane bowling alley. And I guess the bowling alley is closed. Either for maintenance, probably, or just because it became too much of a maintenance issue. And they're like, we don't really want to fix it. Just block it off. Make sure nobody goes down there. And they blocked it off with the giant like cardboard standees, just like all in a row. It's just like a barricade around this abandoned bowling lane. These huge advertisements.
Red Rover, send Melissa right over.
I'm just gonna run straight through them, slip on the lane. It's still slippery. I'm not wearing the right shoes. But these things were clearly chosen purely for we have them, they big, and not for what the actual movie is. And it's just all like forgotten movies that didn't do well, like Channing Tatum's Dog and 2 different giant standees for The King's Man.
There you go. That's funny. So yes, Blue Beetle.
Yeah,
we both
I did
saw this, I should say.
I went back to this theater because I'm like, it looked lonely. I know it like just opened. Maybe the word's not getting out to people. Hey, that theater's back open now. So like, it needs some love. I'm gonna go there. I went to I got tickets for the grand screen. And remember when I went to see Flash and it was something called Screen X, where for certain sequences, it'll project on the sides of the theater. So like you're in the Speed Force. It's that same theater. They just don't do anything on the sides.
Oh,
I didn't realize it was the same room. And because the sides of the theater have to be so pale, they're like a very light gray. Like they have to be light enough for you to like project on them. It's bizarre to not be in a like room with dark walls when you were watching any other movie.
But like because they're not illuminated, because they wouldn't want the like light to be shining on it while you're projecting on it. So that okay, that's weird. I don't know why, but because your first experience with that was with the Flash and being in the Speed Force, for some reason I imagine that theater to be extra long and thin.
It is not.
I don't know why, but in my head, it's just this like longer, thinner,
it's just a tube,
right? Yeah, where like each row only has like 5 seats, and it just goes back for like
just like a bobsled vehicle on some sort of a ride.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we saw Blue Beetle this past weekend.
We both did.
I have to say I really enjoyed it.
Very fun.
I was not expecting a lot. So I did kind of go in with lower expectations. But the trailer looked really fun. So I'm glad that it at least delivered on that. Like I genuinely had a good time. There were some really
me too.
Funny moments. I'm not an expert on the character. My only kind of interaction with Blue Beetle, specifically with Jaime Reyes, has been the Young Justice cartoon. So I know him through that, but that's kind of it. I've read some old like post-crisis comics with Ted Kord as Blue Beetle, but I really don't know much about him. But from the small amount I do know, they seem to get the character right. Like that seemed to be him, I think. And that has always been one of my biggest complaints with the DC movies, is that they often don't get their characters 100% right. And that's something that I think Marvel has generally been a lot better at. I'm just like, oh, they nailed the character, so it feels like them. So then when you tell that story with them, it feels just like it's supposed to. So yeah, I thought this felt like Blue Beetle of the little small amount that I know. So I say if you were on the fence, go check it out. I had a great time.
Yeah, it's solid. It's very fun. It's very sweet. I love him and his family. Lots of quality time spent with all different members of the family. Yeah. They're not just in there for a couple jokes. They're part of the core of the thing.
Yeah.
Does the grandma fight somebody? Absolutely. You get a good old-fashioned fighting granny
of this movie. Yes, absolutely.
Love a grandma. A movie has never suffered from having a grandma in it.
And I think here's one of my thoughts after I left the theater, which was at this movie's worst. Stick with me on this. At its worst, it feels like Spy Kids. And I really love Spy Kids.
Yes, I also thought of Spy Kids.
I have such good nostalgia for Spy Kids, though.
Me too.
Like, I'm not even being like, oh, it's bad. It's like Spy Kids. Oh, man. Yeah. No, it's like, this is fun. This is like Spy Kids. Hell yeah. This is great.
Spy Kids is a mark of quality.
Absolutely. And just like also in the way that the like whole family ends up getting involved in this and in Spy Kids.
Yes.
Yeah. There's some connections for sure. But yeah, I had a blast. Had some great Latinx representation. Just nothing but good things. So surprising. And so one of the confusing things with all these DC movies is like, is this part of the old stuff? This one was made before James Gunn and Peter Safran took over and all that stuff. So where does this lie? And I think at one point James Gunn had said something like, this is the first like character that will be like will introduce this stuff, but it's not the first movie that is take that as you will. I guess it just means just that like he didn't have a hand in making this one, but they're gonna use that character going forward. I
hope so. He's very charming. I enjoyed Jaime Reyes a lot, and I think that's an age range you don't see often. He's like just out of college. I feel like superheroes are either teens or adults, and you don't get a lot of them that are like, I'm 23.
Right. Yeah. But Rachel is in the chat reminding me that George Lopez is also in Spy Kids. So more Spy Kids connections.
Good.
Yeah. I think they did a good job with this. I feel like if you want to look at it as like the last of the, which I don't remember if they're still making Aquaman 2 or not.
I think it has been made. I think Aquaman 2 The Lost Kingdom is complete and just in stasis.
Right, yeah. It truly is a lost kingdom. I feel like if you want to view Blue Beetle as kind of one of like the last movies in the old guard, I guess you can. But it really has no connections to them. There are this might be minor spoilers, but there are no cameos of like, Henry Cavill's Superman shows up and like there's none of that. They might mention Batman, like they live in that world where he exists.
They talk about Batman less than any living human being on our Earth does.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, they haven't discovered the new rock stars.
There's some people who think about Batman once a year, and there's other people who are professionally obligated to think about Batman 100 times a day. And you even those out, and it's like once a week, it's like, oh, Batman.
Oh, yeah. Good guy.
Batman.
Good stuff. So yeah, I say go check it out.
Yeah, the fact that it's on its own, I think some people viewed it as a detriment. Like, why am I seeing something that is neither a setup nor a payoff? But I think for other people, maybe they do want something that is just its own thing with only the vaguest hint of maybe there could be a sequel to this. There's something quaint in that. There's a whole family in my theater. And by a whole family, I mean like 4 or 5 people, not like generations upon generations. Kids of some kind, of some age, not kids, but like preteens or something. Had a great time. Clapped at the end. I'm never in a movie theater where people clap at the end. I have to do it myself most of the time. So I was very happy that whole family.
I mean, you were by yourself to go see Demeter. Did you clap at the end of
Way to
Demeter?
Go! Way to bite! Bite them!
So I had a blast with that. But I say we jump to a quick housekeeping break. When we come back, I have I promised you some numbers, some numbers and stats and stuff like that also kind of has to do with housekeeping stuff. So we'll do all our housekeeping, and then when we come back, we have a few other things to discuss. So yeah, we'll be right back. Here at the Whatnauts, we make multiple different shows, and a lot of hard work goes into making them, so we would love it if you check them all out. If you enjoy our shows, patreon.com/thewhatnauts is the best place to show your support. For just $1 a month, you can get early access to episodes, and at our $3 tier, a Patreon exclusive podcast, The Pilots Club. You can even get a shout out and thank you on most of our shows at the $5 tier. And if you're one of our patrons already, thank you so much. It means the world to us. You can find out more information on our website, thewhatnauts.com, as well as your favorite podcasting platform of choice. When you type in The Whatnauts, all of our shows will pop up right there. Just don't forget to give us a nice rating and review if you like the shows. You can also find us on YouTube and Twitch for video versions of the shows, trailer reactions, and live streams. And lastly, we have merch. If you want to grab yourself a shirt or a hoodie or a mug or something else, head over to thewhatnauts.com/store to pick up some merch today. All right, we are back once again. A big shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. It means a ton.
Thank you.
We love you. Thank you so much. Cool things that we've been up to here at the Whatnauts. For our Pilots Club, our Patreon exclusive podcast, this past month, we got to talk about Veronica Mars from 2004, the pilot of that show. It's a good, like, modern day noir mystery show.
By modern day, we mean 2004. It's very 2004.
I mean, sure, but even then, when I think of the word noir, like I think of like 1950s or like 1940s detective novel, right? Like that kind of like
a time when a man would be scoffed at if he didn't wear a hat or not wear a hat at the right time.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So we had a blast talking about that. A quick look ahead to next month's. We are watching the pilot for Winning Time on HBO or on Max. I should say.
You are the only person I've heard who puts the emphasis on time and not winning time.
Winning time. I don't know. Winning time. There you go.
Whining time.
Whining time. No,
winning
we are watching Winning Time on Max, which is, I guess, a dramatization / comedy. which is also a retelling of the like 1980s Los Angeles Lakers, Magic Johnson, all of them. I grew up a Lakers fan, but I haven't seen this show, and I think season 2 just came out, or like just started to come out, which I did not know was happening when I picked this. So that was serendipitous.
Kyle.
So, yes.
Speaking of historical reenactments of basketball adjacent events, I watched Air this week. Air's pretty good.
Yes. Yeah, Air was pretty good. I enjoyed that one a lot. I always thought the way they depicted Michael Jordan in that is really funny. He's just kind of in their head and just like off, like looking at art, like not even paying attention.
Well, he's also a boy. He's like 19 years old.
I mean, he is, but like he's about to like be in the NBA and like make a bunch of money, get this shoe deal. Like there's a lot to do about him and what he thinks. And the actor they cast, they don't ever show his face. And a fair choice, because it's really not about Michael. It's about the shoe deal and how they like made that show deal. But also there's a lot of pressure if you're playing Michael Jordan, right? So it kind of casts someone was like, don't worry, you're really not going to be in it. Like your feet might be, the back of your head might be, that's it. But yeah, he's just like in some like super important business meeting, which I'm sure could be boring, but he's just like not paying attention, like looking at art. just like what's
they do something where they never show his face, but I guess by that standard, if you never see his face, he's always looking in the wrong direction, and you're like, what's Michael doing? What's up with this doofus?
Michael, get back here. What are you doing? What are you looking at? So yeah, that was an interesting one for sure. A little bit more housekeeping right here on the Captain's Log this past week. Melissa, you issued the Brave Boy Challenge, which we will return to in a little bit here because we have an update on that. But yeah, we get all up to all sorts of fun times here on the Captain's Log. Over on the review show this past week, we got to cover an audio fiction podcast called Mockery Manor. We covered season 1, and it is a murder mystery that takes place in a theme park, which Melissa, you love theme parks, which is why you ended up picking
as much as I love malls.
I pitched. Yeah. So yeah, good like late 80s, early 90s vibes in that podcast. It's a murder mystery, all kinds of fun stuff, some great sound design in that. So go check that out. Over on the Reactor Core, we have our trailer reaction to The Continental, the John Wick 3-part spinoff happening on Peacock, I guess, next month. Right? It's in September, right? Yeah. So all sorts of good stuff happening over there.
I was about to. I had Peacock. I put it on pause just because I was busy watching other stuff this summer, and I was about to say, "Oh, I'm gonna have to revive my Peacock," which is such an insane sentence. A mad scientist thing to say in any other context.
I'm gonna have to.
You're going down a Dr. Moreau path if that's what you're saying.
Yeah. I lucked out last year at around the time of the Thanksgiving parade. They were running a promotion where you could get a year's worth for $12, and I was just like, sign me up. Yeah, that's $1 a month. And I think besides maybe one thing that we had to watch for the review show, I don't think I've opened it. So
you gotta watch Poker Face. You'd like Poker Face.
That is good. That's on my list for sure. But Melissa, you have been asking. You asked something of me a while ago. I think it was like off mic as we were just kind of discussing things behind the scenes stuff here at the Whatnauts. and you asked me for a total, how of all the Patreon content that we have made. What is how many hours does that add up to? How many hours of Patreon content do we have here? And I was like, that's a great idea. I love it. And didn't really do much about it because we for certain we'll start saying this number a lot more next year when we switch up, when I redo the housekeeping video, all of that good stuff. But I calculated all of that. On top of that, there was another stat that I kind of wanted to bring and try and figure out where things were exactly. Over on our YouTube channel mentions that we have over 1,000 videos. We have reached the 1,000 video mark. However, it's a little misleading because we haven't published 1,000 podcasts yet. There's some caveats with that, but I knew that once we hit that mark on YouTube, it's like, oh, things are getting close here. We almost have reached that 1,000 podcast mark for the Whatnauts.
Yeah, I mean, we're about to hit 250 of this.
Right. Yeah. And we've had multiple shows. All of the shows that we've made for the Whatnauts have at least gone in to have reached the 100 episode mark, which I think is a huge accomplishment. So yeah, I tried to go back in and really crunch the numbers, so to speak, and be like, okay, how many podcasts have the Whatnauts actually published? Because even our podcast hosting platform, there's the Patreon stuff, which is on there. There's also some things on there to get the RSS feeds started for each show. There's a few odds and ends. I don't know if I would count. But let's start with Patreon related stuff. So currently, we have 18 videos of the Pilots Club.
Oh, wow, already.
I think Veronica Mars was episode 19, but one of our early Pilots Clubs we doubled up for some reason. I don't remember why we doubled up on them, but we published them as one episode. I don't know if I don't really remember why that was the case, but that's what we did. So we did episode 19, but we only have 18 Pilots Club videos. Outside of that, we have 24 different just kind of exclusive content, videos, podcasts, all of that stuff. Everything from us having an ice cream social with the guys from Crossplay to us picking our Dungeons and Dragons characters.
That was a fun one.
All sorts of stuff to us talking about the X-Files or reacting to trailers from different decades.
Those were great. Those were so much fun to do. That is a very positive lockdown era memory for me.
Yeah. We have some good fun stuff. And then when before we actually truly started Crossplay, our now defunct video game podcast, we did 3 episodes as a test of let's work out some of the kinks. Let's make sure we know what we're doing, know what all of our roles are, stuff like that. So we did 3 weeks of let's test everything out. Those are available on our Patreon as well. So we have that. So
make sure we know all of our roles, such as the cute one, the bad boy, the quiet, mysterious one,
the ugly one. So in total, we have 45 episodes of Patreon exclusive stuff.
Nice.
That you guys can go check out.
So next year you can start saying over 50. What a nice number.
Sure. If I want to do like over 50 episodes, I can do that. We
can record extra things if you want to get us over that 50 mark sooner. I don't care what they are.
Patreon exclusive. Kyle recites the alphabet. No, so to what you asked, I tallied up the hours, the minutes, and the seconds down to the second.
Nobody asked for that.
Patreon content I didn't request it. Have. You did. You said how many hours of Patreon?
I said how many hours? I did not say minutes and seconds. You took that upon yourself.
I did this to myself. So in total of those 45 episodes that are Patreon exclusive, it totals out to 38 hours, 22 minutes, and 38 seconds. So that's how much Patreon content we have right now. Of course, we'll continue to do the Pilots Club through the rest of the year, so this number will go up. I think next year we can be like over 40 hours of Patreon content, or like over 50 episodes. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind with all of that there. But yeah, I wrote out like hours, minutes, seconds, and I had to tally up all the seconds and then convert that to minutes, and then add up all the minutes and convert that to hours, and then add everything up, and then so I did all of that stuff. My brain did not like it. It was like, math? What? Ugh. I hate this.
I'm art.
Right, yeah. Okay, so for podcasts, for the podcast versions of our things, this is not on our YouTube, but when you go look up all of our podcasts, the review show, we have published 267 episodes plus one special. There was the 1 year during the pandemic where we separated out let's do a review of everything we did in the review show, which it was because our end of the year retrospectives were getting very long and lengthy, and potentially boring for people who didn't know anything about the review show, right? So we're like, what if we just made that a separate thing? But we only did that because we did it once initially, and then it was the next year we separated it out, and then by that third year, crossplay was on its way out. So it was like, well, I guess it's just going to be us. So so a total of 268 review show episodes. For the Captain's Log, this one here, we have a total of 248 podcasts currently out. This one we're on right now, 249. We don't have any kind of special episodes that we've done for this one. We've just been next number. Here we go.
Yeah.
For the Reactor Core, same kind of thing. No like special episodes, but we have published 129 podcasts for that one. For Crossplay, we did 131 podcasts plus 4 special episodes that were like interviews or something else like that. So a total of 135 episodes. For our retrospectives, we never actually did a like, here's our first anniversary. Like there wasn't a thing there. Yeah. So our year 2 was our first one that we did. So we have year 2 through 7. So the one that we would do at the end of this year would be our 8th retro, or would be year 8, because this is year 8. So we'd be looking back on year 8. It's confusing. I know. I'm sorry. But we've done 6 of those retrospectives in total. So there you go. Then last but not least, the Whatnauts podcast, the very first initial podcast that we did here at the Whatnauts. A total of 107 regular episodes, 9 crunchy peanut butter episodes, and 2 special episodes that were like interviews, for a total of 118 episodes. You add those all together, a whopping total of 904 episodes. So we are getting close to that 1,000 mark. Yeah. Which we'll have to plan out some like grand 1,000th episode.
A parade.
Oh yeah. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Okay. So back up to YouTube now, because YouTube's a little bit different because we do have some YouTube exclusive content in all of our trailer reactions and stuff. So most of these numbers are the same. 268 for the review show, 248 for the captain's log. For the reactor core, we have it's 3 less. Instead of 129, it's 126, because 3 of those episodes were trailer reaction roundups. I did that as like an experiment thing, and I didn't republish those as a YouTube video. It was only podcast. So Reactor Core only has 126 episodes, but for trailer reactions and stuff, we have 61 trailer reactions.
Wow, already.
Yeah. Crossplay, again, 135, retrospectives 6. So that totals out to and then I don't have any of the Whatnauts podcast up on YouTube. I did at one point, but a lot of them are still sitting at like 0 views and stuff like that. So I was just like, I'm gonna just put those on private and stuff like that. So we have a total of 844 published podcasts on YouTube, or videos. 844. But then if you add in our Patreon videos and all of that stuff, there, which there's I think 42 of, because we don't have the 3 crossplay ones on there. We have 42 of them. That brings the number up to 886. And last but not least, YouTube also counts live streams, even if they are set to unlisted or stuff like that. So I counted how many live streams we have, which is 246, bringing the total to the amount of content that we technically have on YouTube as 1,132 videos.
Nice.
So, there you go. Those were all the numbers, and I guess not really stats, but I saw that we had hit that 1,000 mark a while ago, and I kept meaning to like start tallying it up, but I never did. And then when you were like, "Get me those Patreon numbers," I was like, "Give me more numbers of Spider-Man, and I will give you more numbers." Yeah, bring me pictures of Spider-Man. So there you go. Some good, fun, dumb numbers.
A weekly podcast where J. Jonah Jameson describes a picture of Spider-Man to you.
Honestly, I would listen to that. Absolutely.
That's my ASMR.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Yeah. So in the Spider-Man video games, he is he has like an Alex Jones kind of style podcast where he's just yelling conspiracy theories about Spider-Man. But yeah, I could absolutely see him doing that. And if you're on my Patreon, you can hear me describe these pictures of Spider-Man. That'd be great. I would absolutely do that. Absolutely. Yeah, there you go. Those are all the numbers I had for that. Brave Boy Challenge. Melissa.
Yes.
you issued the Brave Boy Challenge. Can you once again explain what this is? Give me a brief version of what it is, what you had to do, all of that stuff.
My healthy 60-something-year-old father had to have his gallbladder removed in a very mundane way. I went to see him in the hospital. He's like, I'm fine. They're just monitoring me. Maybe they'll take it out tomorrow. Don't worry. So he gets his gallbladder taken out. He texts me and my brothers. Hey, I'm doing fine. Mom's driving me home. Kind of sore, but I'm okay. He's taking this very, very low key. But still, I text him, what a brave boy. And this is the Brave Boy Challenge. Just refer to your father or some other fatherly figure as a brave boy for doing the most mundane of health experiences. Got a dental checkup? Oh, brave boy.
Oh, what a brave boy. Good for you. Yeah, so you kind of, like, I say you issued the challenge. You didn't really issue a challenge,
you don't
but
get
you were
anything.
Like, wouldn't it be funny if that's what you did?
Yes, I did it, and I thought it was funny when I did it. I don't know how anybody else feels, but I'm like, if you do it, you might also think it's funny that you're just reacting to your dad as if he's your son.
Yeah. So
brave boy.
I don't remember if I said anything on the podcast last week that like challenge accepted. I'll do it. Right. I think I was just like, yeah, cool, funny, brave boy challenge. Good job, Melissa. And the opportunity just presented itself and just like hand of God, just being like, here it is. Just go for it. And so I was like, I cannot pass this up. And so, yeah, my partner's father was over at the house 2 weeks. I guess it was like a week, like 2 weeks ago from, I guess, Friday. He came over to bring some dinner. And
nice.
As we were talking, he started talking about a medical procedure that he had to do. I won't say exactly what it is just by the nature of it, but it was when he said it immediately, I was just like, wow, what a brave boy.
Good.
And immediately I looked over at Rachel because I knew she had heard the podcast, and she was like I'm trying not to laugh at all, and he like didn't get that I was like doing a bit, like it didn't confuse him. The conversation just kind of moved on, like nothing
That's
happened.
how dads are. That's what mine did too.
Just absolutely nothing happened, but for us it was so funny. It was just like,
good.
It's
not for your dad, it is for you.
I couldn't have asked for a better moment.
Good.
So yeah, I like that night I texted you and I was like, brave boy challenge accepted and completed.
Good.
Yeah. So there you go. The brave boy challenge is complete. I'm glad it worked out.
Very nice.
Oh man. So I know we have you have, I think, a few more things on your like cinema corner. Do you want to do those? Do you want to do the Rebel Moon trailer reaction? We have a few options of how we can wrap up this stuff, because I also have some Batman Beyond comics that I've been.
Oh, okay.
reading.
I thought you were just watching the old Batman Beyond cartoon from Kids WB.
I've been digging
which
into
is a fine
the
way to
comics.
spend your time.
Oh yeah.
I'm quite a theater goer. This past week, I wrapped up my summer musical series. The season finale was Sister Act. Really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
A guy tears off his clothes and he's wearing another costume underneath, which you see all the time. But then he tears that costume off and he's wearing another outfit underneath that. I've never seen it go that deep.
Amazing. Costumeception. Costume
Absolutely.
We heard you like costume, so we'll put a costume inside your costume. when you're costuming.
So you can drive while you drive.
Yeah.
But another thing I saw this week is that we just had the STL Fringe, similar to the Edinburgh Fringe. Just a bunch of little theatrical events, like little shows you can go see. And one of them was a show from my sister-in-law's best friend's husband, who I've like met at assorted parties. We're very loosely acquainted. His wife and I are friends on Facebook, and she sent me the invite to come see his show.
I am your father's, mother's, brother's, cousin's, sister's former Facebook friend.
We're acquaintances in a variety of ways. He apparently taught theater at my university, and I like saw a play he directed. Mm-hmm. He taught at an acting class that Jack took in like middle school. Oh, so cool. Like he's been around. And he did a one-man show that was all about when he was a kid, his parents would pull these really elaborate April Fool's Day pranks on him.
Okay.
It's just like an hour.
Tell me more.
It's just an hour-long monologue about these. Like he starts the show with the time his dad told him, "Your school, I saw it. It went all the way up in flames. There's fire trucks there. Get on your bike. Go see it." And him and his friend hop on their bikes and they bike up to the school, and the school's completely normal. And they're like, it doesn't look burned. Nothing's wet. So they go back home and his parents are like, "April Fools." And that's the first one. And it's a series of like, you know, that really funny video of you, that stupid little home video that like you're embarrassed by, but your mom shows all your friends. We submitted it to America's Home Videos. You're a finalist. You get to go meet Bob Saget. April Fools.
Amazing.
Some wild animal. You know, we live on the edge of this forested area, like a raccoon or something got in the house. Get your baseball bat. Come on. We need you to whack this thing, knock it out so then we can like shove it outside. And he's so nervous. He's holding the bat and he's shaking and it's like in the closet and his parents open the closet and then like his mom's in there and she just throws a teddy bear at him. These are way more dramatic when the professional actor, does these, but it's a whole series.
Let me ask you this then. Does he start wisening up to like, it's April 1st. Something's going to happen
after
today.
A couple years, he does. Because his folks always find a way to make things look really legitimate. And even when he avoids them, like when he's in high school, he's like, "I'm not going to see my parents at all today. I can like run out of the house real quick in the morning. After school, I'm going straight to work. I work at a pet store." And he talks about how at the pet store, you would watch videos on different types of animals and their care and feeding and the assorted products you would sell along with them. And he's sitting there at work watching a video about a chinchilla or a gecko or what have you. And he's like, "I'm scot-free, man. I'm going to be at this job all night, not seeing my parents at all." And then that silly little home video cuts into the middle of the pet store training video. They called his manager. They got him to splice in the home video. It gets more elaborate from that on the days when he's like,
"Amazing.
I'm not talking to them at all. I can 100% avoid them. I'm in a safe little bubble. His parents find their way into the bubble. It was hysterical. It was such a funny, fascinating, sweet, like very, very personal, specific show. I had a great time. And I hope he sees further success with this one-man show. I think he's going to try and take it to larger venues.
That's cool. That's fun. That sounds like a blast. We oddly that we just watched an episode of Bob's Burgers from the most recent season that is basically the exact same thing. That every year on April Fools, Mr. Fischoeder, who owns the restaurant that Bob is doing his restaurant in,
where he burgs.
Yeah, where Bob burgs. He always does some elaborate prank, some like April Fool's prank. Some of them are really bad and it's just like, "Mr. Fischoeder, come on, I know." And then some are just like, this is like the lengths that you went to for this is wild. What are you doing?
Yes.
And so, yeah, now he's gotten to the point where he's like, I'm going to avoid Mr. Fish Odor. And he's like hot on that he's avoiding him. And so like they do all this extra stuff. Yeah. It's the exact same thing. And it was very good. I enjoyed it a lot. But yeah, like I said, Batman Beyond.
Yes.
Which I think at the end of that show, Terry was probably just like, wait, this is an April Fool's, right? I'm a clone of him, right? But no, not the case for Terry. But yeah, I've always wanted to dive into Batman Beyond and Spider-Man 2099 in the comics. And I just kind of happened to jump in on Batman Beyond. The first comics that were Batman Beyond related are actually kind of a retelling of like the first handful of episodes of the cartoon. It was a short, like 6-issue mini series. Then they do like another series that seems to be taking place in between episodes of the show. So you'd like watch the show and then go read the next issue and then watch the next episode and then go read the. So yeah, it was stuff like that. But then eventually they do start to be like, okay, the show's over. We're making up our own stuff now. But it is still like a continuation of that stuff. There were a few things like after the show had ended that they kept the same art style, all of that good stuff. But then they finally was like, okay, let's do our own art style. Let's tell our own stories. All that old stuff still happened, but it just like starting new, right? And some of that stuff has been okay. And then it got really good when Kyle Higgins started to jump on and write that. And you are racking your brain right now, Melissa. Like, where did I just hear that name?
I've heard that name. I know the name. I can't place it. My comics knowledge isn't that good yet.
Yeah. So I've read not much of his stuff, but his name has popped up a lot more recently for me. He wrote the Power Rangers comics that
the ones we literally just did. Yes.
Yep. He also is one of the main creators on the like Radiant Black Massive universe. The ones like I just read Volume 1 and it's amazing, so good. So yeah, he's also written some Batman Beyond, and that stuff has been like, okay, this is good. I like this. I see what you're up to over there, Kyle Higgins. Good job. Okay. So it's been fun to dive into all of that stuff. But that's kind of it. That's all.
Nice.
That's all I got.
Good to hear.
So yeah, I say we wrap things up right there. I think that's about it for this week's podcast. I know we had that Rebel Moon trailer.
I opened this up. I don't know what it is.
You don't know?
This is all I know is it's a Zack Snyder thing. This video is 3 minutes and 42 seconds long. That's a pop single. That's not a trailer.
All right. Do you want to do a reaction to this? Are you interested?
I don't know how I'm going to react to a thing I don't know. I can do it. I'll watch it, but I might just go, at the end of it. And you're going to have to take that.
That's a-okay. I say we'll skip it. I think you should check it out, but
okay.
Yeah, we'll skip our reaction on that one. Since we're at the end here, speaking of reactions, I don't know what we're gonna be doing for Ahsoka. Ignacio is not able to do those week to week with me. I might see if he'd be up for like an end of the season spoiler cast. If not, I might try and do some of my own just by myself. But I always don't like doing them by myself. I feel awkward. I feel strange. So we'll see. But yeah, there's that. We are back
You do the entire reaction as a soliloquy to your black Power Ranger helmet.
Right.
Like York
so
skull.
What did you think to that? No, but then we are back on Wednesday nights for recording this here podcast. So if you want to catch our live streams, yes, mostly. Wednesday night is our normal, and then usually in the summers we switch to Thursdays. So yeah, we have officially switched back to Wednesday nights. However, I know the September 6th, that Wednesday night, there is the like 25th anniversary, I think, or like 20th anniversary. I don't remember the exact number. I guess 30th anniversary. I don't know. Whatever. There's some anniversary for one of my favorite movies, Perfect Blue. It's going to be out in theaters, one night only. I'm going to go see it. It sounds like Melissa's wanting to go see it
separately on my own. I will also see it.
I've already bought my tickets. I'm super excited. So yeah, we're just a heads up that that night or that week we will probably record then on Thursday night. So just keep that in mind. So there you go. That's it. That's our podcast for the week. So
that's it.
Melissa, where can the people find you on the interwebs?
Tell Kyle if you would like to find me. I have social media handles. I don't update them. I don't know how anybody feels when I name any social media sites anymore. I'm going to make me an email inbox or something else that's entirely evergreen. I haven't done it yet. I have another podcast. You can listen to Saturday Morning Obscurities. Check it out.
There you go. You guys can find me at Yo Kyle Springer on most social media sites. And if you guys want to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we do here at the Whatnauts, we are at the Whatnauts at most places. And if we're not just at the Whatnauts, we're at the Whatnauts official. So please go like, share, and subscribe. That would help us out a ton. If you're watching this on YouTube, we got plenty more videos right over there for you to check out. But yeah, this has been number 249 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log. We will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.